Lying Kamala, Crazy Kamala, he's trying his nicknames, right? Even going so far as to spell out lying with the apostrophe. Yet none of this has worked so far. It does feel spaghetti against the wall.
If you have to spell it, then probably it isn't going to stick. I just want to start by saying that. That isn't going to be a very effective strategy. Donald Trump here is really struggling. I have spoken to Democrats who are sort of marveling at this moment to see how much he feels like he is not able to wield this magical power that they used to feel that he could wield, which was naming someone and having that person be completely destroyed. If you think about how he used that during the Republican primaries, all the nicknames that he used for Marco Rubio,
Marco.
all these things, and
Crooked Hillary, right?
Crooked Hillary, and it sticked, and everyone, and it became the lens through which people viewed them. Whereas Kamala has been, they used to call Donald Trump Teflon Don, but Kamala is the person at this point who is really been able to not be defined by him. And the more that he tries it, I think the less effective that it is.
I mean, Shermichael, it's like when we talked about the polls, he cares so deeply about that, right? He cares about, when I was on this show, it was the highest rated show, or the polls, he cares about those things. So the swing state polling coming out, and I understand some polls show closer than others, but nonetheless, over the weekend, even in the New York Post, which he reads, the headline was not good for him. Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, he's trailing. And these margins in American electoral politics are seismically large. I mean, this is big. It's a chasm. Now we'll see, right? Who knows what his poll shows? It's early, so I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that psychologically for him, this is a lot. I mean, just listen to him himself talking about polls.
I mean, look, it's a lot for us too, right? Because we look at the numbers.
If it's bad, I say it's fake. If it's good, I say that's the most accurate poll.
I love polls, only when they're good. When they're not good, I don't talk about it.
When I was campaigning, I only mentioned that when we're doing well in the polls. When we're not doing well, I don't talk about
it. A lot of this is psychology.
I mean, clearly, I was ready to jump in and start talking about the poll numbers, right? Clearly. I mean, look, Lulu, or Aaron, rather, this is why I think the former president's team is trying to adjust itself. To Lulu's point about the former president being sort of painted as this Teflon Don type character, that is true. And I think in politics, you have to sort of readjust your strategy. For him, he looks at the poll numbers, he looks at the people who turn out and say, this is how I know if I'm doing well, this is how I know if I'm not doing so well. And for him, not seeing the numbers showcase his strength that we saw several weeks ago against Biden is an indicator that the numbers are changing against him. I think we all recognize that to be true. It's why he's spending $73 million and then the super PAC another $100 million over the next 3 weeks to try to define the vice president on some crucial issues. Now, when you look at that Tom Siena poll, there are two areas where I think there is an opportunity for the Trump campaign. It's still on the economic front. It's still on immigration. Can they move the needle on those two issues to close that polling gap?
But you know what's so interesting in that same poll? When you look at the issue of who is more trustworthy, when you look on the issue as who has better leadership qualities, Kamala Harris takes it, in a massive fashion. And that is about the person and not the policies. It's very hard to shift those viewpoints, and he's not helping with the way that he's behaving.
And so far, this campaign, this very nascent campaign that we are in here, has not really been about policy, right? It has been about memes and images and emotion of what people feel.
Sure, and of course, if Kevin McCarthy is publicly criticizing you, I mean, he's the greatest sycophant in modern politics, you know that you're really veering off course. But you put an interesting image up on screen, which is all of this Republican messaging that's going to be coming out, well-funded. We're in an unfortunate situation right now because they're going to be positioning so much of that funding towards this spaghetti approach that you mentioned, trying to caricature the vice president as something, of course, that she is not. What will they not be talking, though, about as a result? They will not be talking about the economy, and they won't be talking about the thing that they need to talk about, which is trying to lie to the American public and position Donald Trump as a sane alternative, because, of course, he is not. They won't message about it, and that's why they're going to lose.
So go ahead.
But I've looked at some of the ads that have not come out yet, and they are going to focus on the economy. They are going to focus on immigration. They're being specific. You'll see immigration ads run in places like Arizona, Nevada, economic issues in places like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. They are being smart about the targeting.
So when you're targeting independents, I mean, still, right? Your bases are solidified, right? You're targeting whatever center is defined at this point. I'm curious, Lulu, as to whether people care about this issue of purposeful mispronunciation of her name, which Trump does repeatedly. And I'll play that because it is constant and it's different ways. Here he is.
Kamala. Kamala. They were explaining to me, you can say Kamala, you can say Kamala. I said, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter what I say. I couldn't care less if I mispronounce it or not. I couldn't care less. Kamala, sometimes referred to as Kamala. You just get about 9 different ways of pronouncing the name.
Does that matter?
It matters. It matters because what he's doing there is trying to other her and say, this is a woman with a strange sounding name that I can't even be bothered to pronounce. You don't have to know who she is. She comes from this background.
Not even worthy of a name.
Not even worthy of a name. She comes from this background. Listen, we know that the voters that really, really come to the polls are women. And beyond women are Black women. And so you, by mispronouncing her name, you are a very large group of people here who, again, with the cat ladies and J.D. Vance, I mean, where the GOP generally, Trump and Vance in particular, are very weak are with the demographic that they actually need, suburban women. And this kind of stuff just isn't helpful.
What do you think about the name issue?
I don't think it's helpful, but I'm also not convinced based on 2016 and 2020 Trump's performance that he necessarily needs a large number of women to do well. I think they're looking at low propensity voters, specifically younger men. And well, hear me out here, Lulu. I think they're looking at other groups to make up for the losses of women that Republicans haven't had in 8 years now. That's my point.
You can't alienate 50% of the population and think that you'll have a sound electoral strategy. But the deeper problem for the entire Republican Party is the leader of their party right now is absolutely insane and unhinged. That's the way he led as president of the United States, and that's the way he's operating now as their candidate, and that's why it's a losing ticket.
All right, I will hit pause.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to Inside the Daily Gist. We are back again like we never left. Welcome back, guys, and thank you. Let's jump right into it. That was on CNN. The fact that the Republicans have to go on national TV and try to defend Donald Trump, I think it's a hard job right now. I don't think they are loving it at all. But they are talking about the polls, and y'all saw the clips they play that Donald Trump is in love with the polls. Now that the polls is not going his way, now we see why he is so angry, because VP Kamala Harris is going up in the poll. All this just changed the moment Joe Biden, the President Biden, the moment he dropped out. Y'all remember all that scenarios? Everything just changed against Donald Trump, and now everything is favoring the Democrat. Yeah, well, it's like they still do not remember that the same polls told us who is gonna win in 2016. These same polls said there would be a red wave in 2022. Why are they still talking about the polls? You know what I mean? Maybe because Donald Trump loved the polls so much when the polls is working in his favor. We are smarter than that, right? Let's continue the conversation down there in the comment section. 2024 is a presidential election year. I've told you, pick up your list and start taking who is going to give you more. And I think the main reason why Kamala Harris is getting this momentum is because the last time she was on the ticket, she was as a vice president. Now she is on the ticket as a president. That is a change. That is something new that the people are really craving for. But hey, November, the election day, that is when we are going to know whether the polls are right or whether people actually want the change. Let's continue the conversation down there in the comment section. Thank you to all my return subscribers. And if you haven't joined the growing community, please do not forget to do so. And thank you in advance. Bye for now.